Hello and welcome to another edition of the Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's the Professor Russell Stevens, and he's JP's first son, Tim Hoey. Oh, another great show for you tonight. So, boys, let's get it started. We have to start with the New England Patriots. Guys, this is the problem. And I texted you when we were watching the game. Like, if it was a normal season or just a normal anything Patriots game in our lifetime, I would love guys like Zeke Elliott. Oh my God, I'd love Pop Douglas. I'd love what Barmore is doing right now, right? Even Zappy, just seeing a young quarterback possibly develop. But we're not that there. We're rooting against them. We want them to lose. And all of a sudden,
Wait. We have become Jets fans.
we really have, because simply enough, it's in our best interest to lose. It is. I mean, winning on Sunday against the Broncos is only a negative. It can't make you feel good. We start with Russell. Russell, I know nobody is more passionate about the Patriots losing. Isn't this, have you ever felt this way as a sports fan, having to root against your team when there are a lot of likable parts to it?
No, I was disgusted, and then I was sort of disgusted with myself for being disgusted, right? Like,
Right.
no one wants to root against your team, but it's clearly the thing to do right now.
Right. But there are guys, Timmy, there were guys like Zeke Elliott, Barmore, Douglas, like the guys that I named, and others, even Miles Bryant's playing well, that, these guys are hopefully the future. So why are we rooting against them to fail right now?
Because we want a higher draft pick.
I know, but this is just
Scotty, okay, the way I see it, the only way you can purposely lose an NFL football game, the coaches have to lose it, okay?
Yes.
These guys are out there playing for the next contract, every one of them, you know what I mean? So when someone's looking to sign them as a free agent, they're looking at the tape from every game. You can't go out there as a player. You can't tank it for 1 second if you're an NFL player. You can't. The only way it can be done is the coaches just putting in the wrong guys and calling horrible plays and making decisions that would go against you winning the game. Like, yeah, Joe, I almost thought that they were, when the game was nearing the end, it looked like they were playing to go to overtime. That started the Bills of the other team was taking the timeouts, and we were doing dive right, dive left there, and it looked like Bill was certainly not trying to win the game. It looked like he was trying to get it to go to overtime. So,
yeah, Joe Wise said a few weeks ago, the defensive lineman, that they're playing for the name on the back of the jersey, not the front. Basically, they're playing for themselves right now, and yet they're doing that. But this looks like a team united still, despite the record, and still loyal to the coach. Do you see that?
Oh yeah, and the offense has been uniting over the last 3 games. I got to say, they've rallied around Zappy. They like him, and I, for one, cheered when it went through. But did you see Bill Belichick on the sideline? Well, all the players were jumping up and down and cheering. He looked more stoic than ever. Looked like I thought the guy was gonna miss it.
I know he did. Yeah, that's a weird situation. I mean, that segues into our next topic, and we'll start with Russell again. I'm having a feeling now that Kraft's not going to pull the trigger on Bill as a coach, but he is going to negotiate that they do hire a GM and that Belichick does agree to that.
I just don't think Belichick would agree to that. I agree with your premise. I think that's what Kraft will try to do. I just don't see Belichick agreeing to that because there's some other team out there that'll give him the GM and the coach job.
And I can't see giving Grow any more power,
Yeah, but I mean,
it's not good enough. Like, you can't just say, all right, Bill, I want you to coach the team so Al Groh, who's been working for you, is going to have final say. That's never going to work because Belichick's going to force his will on whoever. You have to bring in somebody from the outside, like a real GM, and Belichick is never going to go with that. He's just
all his personnel people are all over the league. Every team in the league has a Belichick personnel guy, and he's been left with the dregs. They took all the good ones. He's left with the dregs, which happens to be Al Groh's kid.
Okay, Timmy, is he such an egomaniac that he can't realize that he has not picked good players the last few years? and that maybe at 71, 72 years old, it's okay now to give up those duties?
I don't know. As he gets older, I think as we get older, as all of us get older, I mean, part of us still thinks that we have our fastball and that we want to grow. So you say you own a business, you're like, oh, I want to keep growing this. And then you slap yourself in the face, you go, well, that would mean more work for me. Why would I want to do that?
Yeah.
Unless you have someone in the pipeline in your family to take over for you. I wonder if he's a little torn right now, whether he wants to continue to take on this responsibility and all that it entails, all the energy that it takes to be the general manager and those are two very separate, large jobs right there.
And if
I wonder if he has the insight to go like, hey, I don't have the energy for that anymore. To do it correctly.
That's it, Joe, right? I mean, he's, if he's fixated on getting the record for the most wins,
you seem to think he's making these picks. He doesn't. He's been relying on these scouts and these personnel people to make the evaluations. He just goes off their evaluations, and the people who have been doing it have gotten watered down over the years, and so you're left with guys. He doesn't have the best scouts anymore where he used to. He doesn't have the best player eval for college and pro player personnel that he used to have. You can really see it in the pro personnel. They used to come up with diamonds in the rough all the time.
Yeah.
And now whenever they get someone from another team, he's a piece of crap.
Russ, if they bring in a Pioli type, a guy, or Casero type, a guy that he's worked with before, and he kind of likes his binkies to come back to the team, would you think that would be kind of a settlement to this, and that Belichick could continue as coach?
Maybe, like maybe that I could imagine that being a possibility. It just feels like, by the way, is there any guarantee that Belichick would like to be back as he's thinking about breaking Don Shula's record? Is this where he thinks he can do it? Do you think he really cares about doing it in New England or not? Like, if he goes to the LA Chargers with a great quarterback, isn't that better for him for the next 2 years?
I don't know. I mean, but is the Chargers going to give him the keys?
No, that guy's the Spanos family is so cheap that they squeak.
No, but I'm saying even the Commanders, are the Commanders going to give him the GM coach position? Well, I don't know why they would do that. Based on what?
There's a bunch of guys who still have it in the NFL.
Yeah.
Right?
Who does Andy Reid have that?
Not basically.
Yes, but he has a personnel guy just like
Shanahan basically
always had a personnel guy.
Yeah, there's probably half dozen guys who pretty much have it, right?
But do you think, based on this victory, that it's leaning a little bit more toward Belichick staying, or did that matter on Sunday?
I don't think it matters a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, by the way, having a GM, a separate GM that controls the coach hasn't worked all that well around the league.
Okay, how much of the whole blame for this whole shit show that we've seen this season falls on Mac Jones, and who was insisting that Mac Jones continue to start every game for the Patriots?
Bob Kraft, because he was his draft pick. But
all right, so if it's
now, and Belichick was happy to rub his nose in it with playing him.
If it's Kraft's decision, putting a gun to Belichick's head to play Mac, does Kraft really have a legitimate reason? Because Mac has a large part of this shit show that we've seen.
Bosses always do that.
If Zappe was playing at the level that he's played the last couple of games, guys, I think they're probably 8-7. Would you agree?
Yeah, and it seems like the whole league's 8-7.
Russell, would you agree?
That's a good point.
8-7?
Possibly, yeah, possibly. If we'd had another field goal kicker, we'd probably get another win or two as well. So
yeah. All right. So we're at the fourth position draft wise. Hopefully, we lose on Sunday. I mean, if they beat the Bills, this is completely screwed up. Just so you know that we can get no worse than the 9th pick in the draft. So if we were to win these 2 games and all the other things happened, we'd get the 9th pick. I'm just saying that would be unacceptable. But if we
Unacceptable.
stay at the
Unacceptable.
fourth position for the rest of the season, and the three top quarterbacks get drafted 1, 2, 3, we draft Harrison. Would you mind seeing Russell Wilson as our starting quarterback next year?
Yes, he's done. That dude is done. He is cooked.
And it would
Forget about
cost you like $50
$1
million a year.
zillion.
You'd have
Oh
to pick
my
up
God,
his
the contract is
contract.
ridiculous. Yeah.
No, they're going to cut him, so he would be a free agent.
No, if they can't cut him because the dead money would be a record like $94 million. They can't cut him. And it
What are
would
they going
be
to do? Nobody's trading for
Oh,
him.
well, Joe,
exactly. They're
not
going to
playing.
try to get a trade. They might have to trade him like the Blake Bortles trade to Cleveland. You might have to send a second-round pick for someone to pick up that salary, or
No.
even a first-round pick.
No, they're not doing. Nobody's doing that.
No,
Well,
no.
I
I
mean-
mean, if you take on his salary, you get a first or a second-round pick.
No, Joe. Nobody's taking that salary for a second round, first round pick. I mean, that puts you in salary cap.
Well, that's
hell.
what they did with Blake Bortles. Remember?
Yeah, but
Cleveland
this
took him on.
contract
They
is
had
crazy.
the
So
salary cap room.
what is Denver's strategy then of keeping him healthy for the last 2 games? It sounded to me
It
like
minimizes Tim the guarantee.
and it would be double the guaranteed money if he got hurt.
Yes,
I
so
saw
this
that.
minimizes the guaranteed money.
They're cutting him, Joe. That's what they're doing. That they're
Well,
cutting him
they
so
would
much.
like to trade him.
They're not going to trade him. Nobody's going to take that contract on.
It'd be worth giving up a couple of draft picks to someone to take that contract on.
But nobody's going to do that because that puts him in salary cap.
Because
hell.
if they cut him, then they cut him. It's the same as keeping him.
Yeah, all right. The question is, if they cut him, which you're going to do, I mean,
No.
would you
Honestly, Scotty,
can't
what
cut
I
him.
mean,
They
I
are
would Joe's
doing
good
it.
point.
Scotty, I think if they were to get Harrison, I would rather just have them get Harrison, draft or sign for free agents a bunch of offensive linemen, just go offense, and bring Zappy back for a year and hopefully only win 7 or 8 games, and then get another raft of really good draft picks. It's going to take more than 1 year to rebuild this team.
Exactly.
This team's
Are
3
there-
years away from competing for a conference championship.
Now, are there any other quarterbacks that are coming off their contracts who we might be able to?
Yeah, Baker Mayfield, Jacoby Brissett, Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, get one of those guys and bring Zappy back.
Arizona can't wait to get rid of Kyler Murray. If you see something here,
Yeah, that's a lot of money, though, Joe.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
to your point,
it's
like,
the same. It's the same thing as Russell Wilson.
yeah, like to rebuild the team from the inside out and take the 3 years to do it the right way.
Mhm.
And the right way is not to bring some washed up, really expensive quarterback in.
Well, I really wouldn't mind if you did bring in a rookie quarterback, having a veteran quarterback, kind of, to
Right.
ease them through, a la the Patrick Mahomes and Johnson.
So this Broncos win screwed us up, possibly for the next.
Oh, and
for the
no.
next for literally the next generation. I'm one for hyperboles to get a stud quarterback. That's how negative this victory was, right?
What if there's no stud quarterback in this draft?
Well, I mean, you're gonna.
It happens quite frequently.
I know. Well,
What-
obviously you're gonna have an opportunity to draft one of the 3. I mean, if you could get Daniels at 4, which I think is still a possibility, don't you think?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Not everyone needs a quarterback.
I mean, I would be shocked if that Harrison slides to 4.
And this the offensive lineman seems like a pretty highly touted kid.
Oh
too.
no!
But you also got to worry about teams that do need a quarterback that are picking, say, 9th, 10th, or 11th, trying to move up ahead of the Patriots.
Yeah.
Jump into that 3rd slot that do want to take a quarterback.
So Bill O'Brien had nice things to say about Mac Jones this week. Why?
Build his value.
There's
Possible
no
trade.
benefit in bad mouthing them.
No benefit.
You
at
don't
all.
gain anything.
Like, when you talk positive about Mac Jones, aren't you talking negative about your coaching?
I don't
He's
know.
already
No,
apologized,
why,
taking the
why,
blame
why,
for this.
but is it more important to devalue an asset? He's an asset. They're trying to shine him up and make him look shiny, right?
Well, most likely Bill O'Brien's 1 year and done here, right?
I don't think so. I think they can't just keep switching the magical hat on this offensive coordinator. I think they have to lock in. I mean, O'Brien's got a good reputation. He's had a horrible year this year, but he's he's done some things in the past, Scotty, that have been pretty good.
And the
Right?
horribleness was with Mac Jones at the.
Yeah, he had fucking Mac Jones. he had, he had a
You know, we've been
Eason-
blaming the coaching, but it's Mac Jones.
It's Mac Jones, man. Doing the plays he made, the inescapability,
Oh
the
my God.
turtling in the pocket. I mean,
The
I don't know. I
retreating.
don't know what offensive coordinator could have done much with him, to tell you the truth.
Well, we should have signed Lamar Jackson. We should have drafted Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
We drafted Isaiah Wynn and Sony Michel instead of drafting Lamar Jackson.
Well, this kid from LSU, is he the second coming?
Jalen Daniels,
I
high
don't
school
know.
trophy winner.
I mean, look, again, he's very skinny. I just don't like these skinny guys who run a lot. You'd get absolutely crushed in the NFL. But we'll see. Barmore, we have to talk about Barmore. Russ, Barmore, did he just become a star in front of us in that Broncos game?
Yeah, he just seems like a real beast out there. The only thing I would say is he's in a contract season.
No, he's not. No, he's got 1 more year left.
I think he can sign an extension after this year.
Yeah.
Oh, right, but he's 1 more
yeah.
year left with the Patriots.
Yeah. I just, but good for him. Look, he's a really good player. I got no complaints, but I would be a little wary about giving that guy top 5 defensive lineman money. Let's just put it that way.
He has shown a streak of dog in him in seasons past, but last that Denver game, he played 80% of the snaps. I don't think he's ever played 50% in any game. That's tough work for a fat guy.
Yeah, he is
Fat
a
guy on defense.
You,
That's like going 12 rounds in a heavyweight fight. That's a lot of work for a big guy.
Timmy, are we impatient, especially in this town with our young players? Because what Barmore's, this is only 3rd year in the league. And, I mean, this is when these guys start to figure out things, but yet we're already impatient with them. We want production immediately.
In some ways, yeah. It's different than, hasn't it changed since what it used to be like? These guys used to be brought in and they'd sit for you. You know what I mean? Now we want instant production out of them. You know what I mean?
Do you mean like
right away.
Peyton Pritchard, Scotty?
Oh my God!
With no Jalen Brown, we'll see a lot of them tonight.
D'Angelo Russell didn't know he had such an offensive game with the Lakers. He was hunting Pritchard down. Russell had his way with Pritchard. You have to agree during that Lakers game.
He had like 20 points. He helped them win that game. So
No, I know. Offensively, he did. I'm not getting. I'm rooting for
He
him.
had that stretch where he had.
Look, let's get back to the Patriots. I'm just pointing out a little bit of a unique similarity between a guy like Christian Barmore and Peyton Pritchard.
because Barmore was a first round pick. Pritchard, he's a first round pick in the NBA, like 25 and stuff. Are you really going to die on the vine with Peyton Pritchard after the year you've had, Russell?
Scotty, getting
no,
back
I'm
to
just saying that the analogy just popped up to my head when you were talking about.
Okay, getting back to the original.
He couldn't avoid the correlation between the two.
He's waiting for Scotty to tee it up for him. Getting back to the original question, Scotty, when we're winning, like when we had the dynasties going, we had the luxury of bringing guys in and letting them learn in practice, letting them get seasoned for a couple of years. When you're we're like I said, we're the new Jets. You see them on draft night. The whole city in New York is there, and waiting for the Messiah to be drafted, and they want to see him on the field the next day. So that's kind of how we are now. You know what I mean?
That's a great point. Yeah.
Who's gonna save us? You know what I mean?
Yeah, we draft 9, 10 guys, and we're like, all of them going to need to contribute. You know, it's like if we're going to go anywhere, they all need. I'm like, oh yeah, really depend on the 7th rounder, to be the starting right tackle.
I mean, back in the the Tom Brady days, we didn't hear the draft pick on draft night. We wouldn't hear his name again for 2 years half the time. You know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, look, it's changed now. Needless to say, we're in a different era. After the Broncos game, your perception of the Patriots, we'll start with Joe. Has it changed as far as the future? Are you more positive about it?
Well, not particularly. I'm pretty much the same before and after. The Broncos played terribly.
Yeah.
They tried to, especially in that third quarter, they tried to make amends in the fourth quarter, but then they let the Patriots right back in the game there at the end there for the field goal.
Russell Wilson played terrible.
It's frustrating, Russell, that there's not I mean, the Ravens are very good, but otherwise there really isn't a great team in the AFC.
Yeah, yes, but let me go back. No, my opinion hasn't changed at all. Weren't we up what were we up by? 16 points or something?
Yeah.
Yep.
We blew that game. And we were gifted that game with a special teams turnover into the end zone and all this fakakta stuff, right? So the Broncos handed us the game.
I know.
And then we just gave it back to them late. But for Sean Payton having an aneurysm on the sideline and screwing that last minute of the game up, that thing was going into overtime. Were we going to win that game in overtime?
Yeah, he should have played for overtime.
He doesn't. Sean Payton doesn't call those timeouts for the Patriots. We don't have time to.
No,
kick
they
that
run the
field goal.
clock. Yeah, I didn't really understand what he was doing.
Down.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was he going to think? With 20 seconds left, he was going down the field?
I don't get the narrative about how this is like a season, like some sort of a.
Well, Russell, I think we finally saw some production out of our quarterback. Finally, I think that's what people are jumping on a little bit.
Yeah, he's a number 24 quarterback in the NFL, and he was competent. He didn't turn the ball over.
Exactly.
Well,
but for the first time,
he had a lot of injuries. All the best receivers weren't playing.
Yeah.
Hunter Henry not playing. Kendrick Bourne not playing. They're all hurt.
But we finally had a semi-competent performance from our quarterback.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah.
But also the fact is these games have been competitive, most of them. Okay. We are missing our 2 best players
on defense.
Gonzalez. Okay, on defense. We're missing our best wide receiver in Bourne. So when you look at this,
our best running back in Stevenson is out for the year now.
You look at the 24 season, it's all about getting a quarterback. It really is. I mean, I know
it is, and that's why they need to keep. Just look at what the Colts did. Manning got hurt. They went 2-14. They drafted Andrew Luck, who was a generational quarterback. Now he got hurt. He left the league early, but he was a successful draft pick.
Yeah.
The Colts had one crappy year and were crappy enough to get the best quarterback in the NFL.
To suck for luck.
Us winning that game the other night probably cost us that chance.
I know it's screwed up, and now we're going to beat the Jets in a week.
Of course we are. We're going to end up with the 7th pick, and we're going to be drafting a spot freaking corner, a slot corner or something like that.
Have you noticed the only games Belichick has tried to win against his biggest rivals, Denver, Pittsburgh, and the dog-ass Jets, right? Those are the only games they've even tried to win.
All right, we got to go.
Do we want to go over last week's predictions?
Yeah, all right, go ahead. Yeah.
Russell had Denver 17-13. Scott had Denver 24-12. Joe had Denver 33-10. But Tim Hoey had the Patriots 20-17.
Oh, here we go. Hey,
congratulations,
this guy. Wow.
Nostradamus.
Congratulations. Let's give it up for Timmy. There we go. All right. Let's do it again this week. Timmy's on a roll. We start with Timmy, the winner. Patriots versus the Bills. It's in Buffalo, right? Right?
It is.
Excellent question.
It is.
All right,
It's
let
in
me get
Buffalo.
my trusty pen out here. Bills.
All right, what do you think, Timmy?
Hold on, I gotta get a pen that works here.
All right, well then we'll go with Joe. Joe,
Okay, go
while
to
he's
Joe
getting a pen.
first.
Geez, we'll go with Allen and the Bills winning. Because you never know. You get any weather up there and late in the year, and it's impossible to play. So we'll just go with like 21-10. Give it to the Bills.
To the Bills. All right, 21-10, Timmy.
They're fighting
Joe
for the
to the
playoffs.
Bills.
All right, 21-10. Joe has Bills 21, Patriots 10.
All
I'll
right,
go
Russ-
last. I'll go last.
Russell.
30-9, the Bills.
Wow. Wow. All right. You think the okay. 30-9 Bills. So what's the spread?
Hold on,
Probably a
I'm
touchdown
trying to find
anyway.
that out right now.
Yeah. I'm gonna go that I think it's gonna be a freaking close game again. I want these games to be over at halftime. I don't
6.5. The spread is 6.5.
I don't want to invest that much.
6.5.
I think it's gonna be
No.
22 to 21 Bills. I think it's just gonna make me miserable having to watch all 3.5 hours of the game.
What was the score? What is it?
I have 22 Bills, 21 Patriots.
22-21.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a windy day up there in Buffalo, and they can't even throw the ball up there.
Yeah. Timmy.
All right, the Bills are sputtering, but the Patriots offense is still incapable of scoring. I will go with the Bills 28 and the Patriots 10.
All right.
By the way, the spread is actually 13 right now.
13.
It is?
No.
Wow. I take
I
the
think
Patriots.
I think I'll put a little something on the pass then.
13.
The Patriots in the under.
You would take Joe, I agree with you, Russ. You would take the Patriots in that?
Bills have everything to play for. Their entire season rests on winning this game. They are going to throw everything at the Patriots on Sunday.
If they win this game, they guaranteed the playoff. I think
Yeah.
they're already in the playoffs, aren't they?
No.
I don't know, but
No. I mean, they're only
I think they're already guaranteed the playoffs. It's just that now they could be the 2 seed if they win out. If they win out,
I
they'll
don't
be
know.
the number 2 seed.
Josh Allen's a mental midget. I mean, he makes throws. I don't even know what the hell he's doing.
But well, no, that's because when that other offensive coordinator they just fired used to make him throw it down the field to Diggs on every play. Now they've got him moving it around. The last 2 games they have dominated the other teams.
Okay, before we go, you guys want Zeke Elliott back because I totally like him as a.
I love him.
Oh my god!
Oh, yeah, I'll
he's
take him back anytime.
He's
Yeah.
he's like the more he gets the ball, the better he does. It seems like the guy's a gamer, man. I thought he'd be out there with his walker, man. I give the guy a lot of credit. He's got a lot of guts.
Yeah, he's
He gives
fun to
him-
watch.
they have
He
not
took some
clinched
big
the
hits in
playoff.
that game too, and he got right back up because he knew he was the only guy.
What's that, Russ?
They have not clinched. They have basically a 87% probability. If they win, they're basically in the playoffs. 97.
Now, do you think there's any possibility Belichick knows that he's coming back, and he's saying, "No freaking way do I want to win this game," and he's going to coach to lose it?
He doesn't know he's coming back.
But see, he's going to want to beat the Jets no matter
Well,
what.
I would be. I'm sure he knows whether he's coming back or not. That conversation has already been taken place between him and Kraft. Unless Kraft, backstabs him. I imagine that conversation has already been done.
And speaking of Kraft, I was looking at the BC roster. Do you know that Jonathan Kraft has a son on the BC football
Yeah.
team?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Does he play?
5'8", about 120 pounds.
Oh my god! What is he? The water boy?
He's on the roster.
Yeah, that's what. That's
You
what
make a
donation is.
generous contribution.
Is there a new Kraft?
And you make the team.
Is there a new Kraft building over at the Jesuit University?
There will be.
There's a new locker room they redid the locker room.
I don't remember reading his name for Dexter Southfield in the paper, like, Star of the Week or anything much.
Yeah, he doesn't even know what his position is.
I almost fell over. I went to Zapdos today for lunch, actually, Scott.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh my
I
God!
did, yeah.
Did you sit in the
Were you
Kerman
with the
booth?
client?
I did not sit in the current booth. I
You with
did
the
have
client?
the front. No. I just popped in. I was driving by and I was starving.
Oh my God!
And
You have to call me next time.
I know, Scotty. I didn't have time. I was just
That's
rushing
illegal.
I know. But I knew BC had just.
He's dying for that challah French toast.
Oh, I
had.
have
That's
been
what I
all
had.
week.
I just had the holla.
You
And
did?
I did, of course I did.
You
The
sit at
side
the
of bait
counter?
with the side of bait. No, I sat on a little table in the back.
Oh,
Right near your booth. Right near your booth.
okay.
Scott.
Did you rub it? Good
I
luck.
did. I took my
Have
nuts
it
out
for
and
good
rubbed
luck
them on
like a
the
Buddha.
rubbed them on the little tag there.
Oh my God! You ruined my
I
evening.
almost fell over when I saw Kraft on the BC roster. I
That's-
had to do some research after that and make sure it was the right one. And sure enough, it's
That's
son of
ridiculous.
Jonathan and grandson of Robert.
That's ridiculous. It's like Lori Laughlin's kid. All right, we're gonna go to the Celtics. We have to go to positive. The Boston Celtics are the best team in the NBA. They are right now. They're the best team in the record, the best team in any statistical matter that you want to bring up. I really truly believe this, and we've said this before. If they stay healthy, they'll win the title. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah, and you know what's
Oh,
really
yeah.
put them over the top is Derek White's emergence as just like a star.
Mhm.
I mean, he's if we had last year's Derek White or the year before's Derek White, it'd be one thing. He's elevated. I mean, so his elevation has put them in even another zone, I believe.
That's interesting. I think it's Porzingis. I think Porzingis just.
Well, no, that too, but
Yeah, I just
Derek
think that
White,
all of a sudden, like, oh shit, Porzingis is on the court too. We got no answer for him, and they don't. Nobody has any answer for him.
I mean, when was the last time we had someone go nose to nose with Anthony Davis? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but he's so big. I mean, you get him on the post, Russell, and it's always a mismatch.
Yeah, they ran their offense through him. They did something the other night against LA that, we've been wanting them to do for a while was, when shots weren't falling and they only shot 31% from three the other night. Instead of just taking more threes in the fourth quarter, they ran their offense through Porzingis and they won the game. Like they had no answer for Porzingis. I actually think both things are true. Game to game, it's White. White is so freaking consistent. But when Porzingis is in there, he just adds something that they haven't had for a long time.
Yeah, when they get in a pinch with the threes, they can just do the pick and roll, get the mismatch with Porzingis.
Yeah.
And he's just so freaking tall. I mean,
Yep.
you see him posting up on a guy who's 6'8", but Porzingis makes the guy look like he's 5'10".
Runs the court real
another
well.
another thing about D White this year is he's playing a lot more point guard where they've moved Pritchard over to the strong side. So he's kind of playing out of position because he usually used to play on the strong side quite a bit, especially in the starting unit. He's strong side.
I know this is crazy. I know maybe this is a stupid question. Has D White become a max player?
He may not be a max,
I think he thinks
but
so.
He's gonna make a lot of money. He's gonna make a lot of money.
How many years?
I don't think it's going to be the year. I mean, they'll sign him they'll want to sign him for the maximum amount of years. I don't know if it's 4 or 5. I think it's 4.
And on top of what he does on the court, we saw the change when he arrived in that Celtics locker room. What was it, a year and a half ago?
Oh my God.
2.5 years ago?
Totally
He
different.
changed everything on the mentality of
ago.
that locker room. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything changed. So if you have a club that has some really up and coming talent, and you're like looking around for a guy, it could be
because of the
Well,
CBA,
remember, they tried to extend him and he refused all offers that the Celtics had. He thinks he's worth more than they're going to give him.
All right, I got a minute. Question, Russell, because of the CBA, can they sign Holiday and White and keep the band together? That's the question.
Yeah, for basically 1 year. They could take a huge tax hit if they signed White and Holiday this winter and this summer, and they could probably take a huge cap hit for 1 more year, and then they're going to have to trade at least one of those guys.
Ross, what is their contract status right now?
Both of them are Holidays
Like 20?
up. I think they're both up, Tim.
Really? They're
And
both free agents at the end of
I
this year?
think so. I think
that
so. It's
scares the crap
possible
out of me,
White
bro.
has one more year, but they can
White
extend
has
him.
one more year.
Yeah, but they can extend him now.
Yeah.
But if they have all these signed contracts, I mean, they have to get. Can't they just keep these guys because they're signed?
Yeah. So let me explain.
Holiday isn't.
So they can keep them, but it's now much more punishing if you keep teams together for more than a year or two, because then you actually start to lose, you lose draft picks, which they can't have happen to them. So they could get by.
Wait, do they lose first round picks?
Yeah,
They
can
do.
get by with going one more year, extending past the second apron for one more year. But as they currently stand, this team can be together at the most for 2 years. Next year and one more year. That's it.
And then
Giroux is 34 now, so he's getting a little long in the tooth. So he'll probably be the first one jettisoned.
how many would have to go of the big five?
Well, remember, Horford's, so Drew is 33. Horford's contract goes one more year after this. That comes off the books, and he'll probably retire. You know, Drew won't make the max. White will get close to the max. I'm sure they'll want to get these guys to try to play ball a little bit. But again, I think you're looking at 2 years, and then, you know, probably, it's either Drew or Brown. I would think at that point. You just
When
pick
is
one.
Tatum is going to get the 50 million a year.
Yeah, but that's an
Next year?
extension that he won't make that next year. He'll make that the following year. That's what I mean. It's that following year when
Yeah.
Brown's at the max,
It
Tatum's
all
at the
hits the
max,
fan. Yeah.
Holiday,
Well,
White.
Tatum will be like 60 or 70 million at that point, right?
I think he starts at around 50.
Yeah.
Tim.
50?
Yeah.
I think probably the guy that would go, like you said, is Joe Holiday would be the first one out the door.
Well, yeah, maybe even after this season.
I mean,
Well,
look, a lot of stuff can happen. If this thing falls apart in them, I could see them signing Holiday and White and trading
Yep.
Brown after this year. I absolutely could see that.
Yep, just
would you
for
rather have?
financial reasons alone, if nothing
Now,
else.
what would you rather have? Drew and White or Brown?
Oh, I would rather Drew and White, but I don't think
Yeah.
I think it's a question of not 2 for 1. I think it's just, you know, they're just gonna have to get rid of a salary, to Joe's point. You know, you get rid of Brown. By the way, if you were to trade Brown, you'd get a lot more for Brown than you get for Holiday.
Oh, yeah.
I want a Rudy
and I
Gobert
love
type
Holiday's
deal.
defense, taking on Embiid, Giannis. He takes on the best player on the other team every time. That frees up a lot of guys.
I want a Rudy Gobert deal.
Yeah, we're living in the penthouse right now.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
You give me a Rudy Gobert deal, and I will literally drive Jalen to wherever.
Is there another idiot?
City.
Is there an idiot?
Sure, there's always an idiot.
Is there another
always an
idiot out there that's dumb?
Remember the Nets trading all those picks for a washed-up Pierce and Garnett?
And we can thank them for what we have right now, right? I mean that turned into Brown and
Tatum and
right?
Brown, yeah.
Well, the whole Kevin Durant is. They're already saying that they're worse off the Suns with Kevin Durant than they are without him. You know, and I mean, they're not happy with the Beal. They gave up a lot for Beal. The Suns. There's always bad.
Has he even played yet?
I don't even know.
24 minutes.
Some really bad
They're
deals.
getting their money's worth. He's got a max contract too.
But nothing may be worse than the Russell Wilson. I don't want to backtrack. Nothing worse than the Russell Wilson deal. Oh my!
Oh, that Lillard deal was pretty bad, Scott.
Yeah, no, but Russell Wilson, they gave the Gobert deal. You mean the
Gobert,
deal.
Gobert.
But no, the Timberwolves.
They're doing very well this year.
Yeah,
though. That's a big lineup. That's a bunch of big guys.
Yeah, so if they win the title, then that ends up being a good deal. And just so you know, in 3 days, A-Rod is the main owner of the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. That man has a horseshoe up his ass. He's so
Alex Rodriguez?
Yeah.
Will own the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Fully.
Yeah, he's a co-owner. He he didn't put anywhere near as much money in as the next guy, but he's going to be one of the governors of the
Be the face of the franchise, I'm sure.
Well,
Maybe he
made
can get a
boatload-
girl like J-Lo now.
He made a
right.
boatload of money, in his day. A boatload.
Oh my God, he's that guy. I can't stand him so much. Oh my God, he's so freaking annoying. All
We
right,
would have
boys,
loved him if he had come to the Sox then.
but yeah, right. Well, I would have loved him absolutely. I just want to say that Joe Mazzulla has reinvented himself in every way, shape, or form.
I agree.
Off season was really good. I think bringing in Cassell and a couple of the other assistants really has settled him down. And I actually like Joe Mazzulla as a coach and his personality. And I can't say a year ago that was the case. Would you agree?
I give him credit for listening to those guys that he brought in, and he obviously is. He's taken some advice from those guys.
Yeah.
He still doesn't call enough timeouts for my liking.
I know,
But he's a changed man. He's 180 degrees, especially in his public persona, his dealings with the media and the fans. He's a totally different person. Last year, he was tight ass defensive, and that carried over onto the court. He only played the starting five. He'd play him right into the ground, and they die in the fourth quarter every game.
Russ, who would you rather have, Mazzulla or Udoka right now?
It's a great question. For this team, probably Mazzulla. I think Udoka's act would have worn thin after a couple of years, Scotty. That throwing guys under the bus and the hard ass stuff. I think that by now they would have already started to wear on them. Yeah.
but Russ, do you believe he was the necessary evil at the time?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
they needed a change of voice from Brad, and he gave it to them. And look, Mazzulla, he grew. This is what you want from a coach. He had no business or expectation being the head coach of the Celtics last year.
Yeah.
That's the
I
bottom line.
agree. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, but I think Brad has really helped him along. And when we see maturity in athletes from
Yeah.
1 year to the next,
Yeah.
We
and-
applaud it.
right. But also, you very rarely see this circumstance where this kid was put in a situation with this top team. He's a young guy, but to see him change in 1 year, kudos to Mazzulla. And looks like we have a really top young coach for the Boston Celtics, and that's a good feeling. And he's trying really hard, so that's positive. And again, Brad Stevens, everything comes up aces with that guy. All right,
What's probably not hurting at all is that Tatum and Brown are maturing too.
absolutely.
Well, I
Yeah,
think
that's helping
Ime
them
had a
grow.
hand in that, giving them a kick in the ass. That good cop, bad cop, now back to a good cop. It works.
and Russ, you talk about Tatum and his durability, and it's so true. I mean, that kid shows up.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
turns his ankle 3 times in like one game.
Yeah.
Somehow he's still out there.
He wants to be out there.
Yeah.
He's very durable, although all that, and that's to take nothing away from him, except in the biggest game last year.
Seventh
right?
game.
It's just bad luck. Like you get a bad enough ankle sprain, and you could really dig yourself into the ground. The one thing I would say about Brown and Tatum is, and you've heard a lot of this over them talking about it over the last week, is about how they're sacrificing, which is really good, but they're also both in a position where they can afford to sacrifice now.
Yeah.
Brown made an all NBA and got the max
Got
contract.
the money.
Tatum's got the max contract coming to him. So they can now put that stuff aside and say, the only thing left for us now is to win a championship. That's where our legacy is going to be.
Yeah.
So guys,
Well put.
go ahead, Timmy.
I said, well put. Exactly.
I was watching. I was streaming, and it was the away broadcast group, and it was Mike Fratello, and he was talking about. They were talking about how Brown and Tatum play a lot of minutes. He said, "Guys, these guys want to play a lot of minutes. They want their numbers every night. So the reason they're out there with 4 minutes left and up by 20, they need their 25. They're competing with each other." For bragging rights, the contracts. He said that's why they're still out there. He said you have 12 guys in the team and you have 12 corporations, and that's how you have to deal with them. And he said, so we always think that's Mazzulla. What is he doing? It's because the players want to be out there.
Yeah.
Players run the show in the NBA.
Yeah. So I thought, for Teller's he's been around forever. So I thought that was great insight. All right, go to. I know you want to talk about him. I mean, who doesn't? I mean, I know they're in your thoughts every second of the day. The Boston Red Sox.
We're going all in this year. All in.
Full throttle.
Full
Gonna be
throttle.
fireworks.
Full throttle.
So it's they live off we have interest in. That's the line, right? We have interest in a player. So they think if they say they have interest in a player, that's almost like they signed him.
Yeah.
Almost, Scotty.
Yeah, and then apparently I had forgotten this quote last year at the Winter Red Sox Wonderland. Henry said, "You have to understand, baseball players are very expensive."
So is a beer at Fenway. So is a
Soccer
parking
players
spot
in
at lot.
Liverpool are even more expensive.
So why are we the only ones worrying about the Red Sox? Because it doesn't feel like the ownership is.
They're running the Red Sox just like they run the commodities desk at their trading company. I mean,
Yeah, they're not serious about competing, guys. Like
no.
I didn't buy a lot of that. Well, their attention was they've been distracted, divided attention for years. I thought, oh yeah, it's fine. They can pay attention to more than one thing. They're just not. They're not serious about winning a World Series, really, as the highest priority.
I think that they are looking at it strictly now from a profit and loss perspective.
Yeah,
you're right. But it used to be, I thought, would you agree that the fans, I felt if we were outraged, that it tended to influence future decisions by I don't feel like they give a shit.
When John Henry used to spend 9 months of the year saying Brookline and read the Boston Globe every day, he was sensitive to what the fans were saying. But now I think he spends too much time on his yacht, not enough time here, so he doesn't get out. He doesn't get sensitive to what the fans are saying.
So Red Sox are not allowing the press to talk to Breslow. And they said, this is already, and they said that Breslow may or may not be available for interviews in the month of January. This, again.
Not only is that just ridiculous, but it's bad business. Like there's no buzz about the Red Sox in this city. There's nothing. The Red Sox they're not even getting mentioned. It used to be the hot stove season. They don't even get a mention on any of these outlets.
Hey, can I ask? Is it 40% of the teams make the playoffs in MLB now?
I don't know, but it's a lot. I mean, it's enough where they everyone seems to be in it. The last week of the season now.
So I think that's how they're looking at it now. We have like a 50-50 shot of being in the playoffs, and as long as we're in the playoffs, we have a shot. And we're not going to
the strongest division in baseball, Timmy.
I know, but
4 teams better than
stuck
us
with all these salaries that we used to get stuck with.
I mean, what move right now placates you?
Signing 2 pitchers, like 2.
I'll go for 3. I don't mind. Bring back Paxton, fine, but you got to get me a couple more.
Bring back Paxton. Oh my God!
If they want to, let them.
I can't think of a
worse. You got to
worse
get me 2 more.
Did you watch him at the end of the season? The guy was a broken down.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's already had 2 Tommy Johns. He's going to have a 3rd.
Yeah, come on. We don't need to.
He'll get it right before the season starts.
It's
they'll get then they'll try talking up. Oh, Cutter Crawford's going to be better this year, and Tanner Houck is going to be better this year. They're not. They're going to be.
I saw some. Go ahead.
Breaking news: the Celtics are down by 11 in the first quarter to the.
Oh, that was so predictable. It's so right. That was so predictable that they would lose this game. Right? There's no question they're going to lose.
Yeah, Browns not playing.
They're not going to lose.
They're down 11. They're getting run off the court right now. It's hysterical.
Not going. They can turn it on and off like a spigot, guys.
So tickets were going for the lowest tickets for tonight were $175. I read somewhere. because I know it's Christmas week and everybody's
Yeah.
back and stuff.
You can
But
take the
Yeah,
kid.
I could have sold. I had an offer for myself from a broker for $250.
a piece.
Yeah,
Yeah. No.
and
Yeah.
then he would have had to resell them too, and so he would have probably put them on for $350 at least.
So wait, has any team ever lost as many games in a row as the Pistons?
No, this is the record.
Yes, they don't have the record yet. They would
You know-
tie the record tonight, and then they would break the record by losing to Toronto the next day.
Is it 27 straight?
Yep.
I think over 2 seasons, the 76ers lost 28 or something like
Yeah.
that.
Okay, so the
But
Pistons
one
lost-
season, this is the record they have right now.
the Pistons have, and they
And,
signed
and
that.
having the 2 highest paid coaches in the league have the 2 worst teams, Popovich and Monty Williamson with Detroit.
I know that's what I wanted to remind you all, that just because if you get a top quarterback doesn't mean the next season that you're doing well. I mean, if you think about Troy Aikman, the Peyton Mannings of the world, they came in and their team stunk the next year with
Yeah.
these top quarterbacks. But in the NBA, I'm very surprised that like San Antonio is not good, because you felt like that Victor would have made a bigger difference. Has he
Well,
played well?
Yes, he's played well, but the big stink is that Popovich and the rest of the team don't seem to include him. They're not feeding him the ball. They're all shooting on their own and not passing to him. And Popovich seems to go along with this, is the big criticism down there.
Popovich is their Belichick, right?
Oh, yeah. He's
So-
there for life. He's the only thing that's ever happened to San Antonio that was good.
So the Celtics are down 11, and Mizzou is pissed off enough. Pritchard, Hauser, Tatum, Brissett, and Keita are on the court now, coming out of the
Yeah.
timeout.
Oh wow!
It's only
And
8. They got it down to
they'll-
8.
They'll bring it. That group will bring it down to 3.
Oh
I
God!
tell you
Pritchard will hit-
something.
Pritchard will hit 3 threes.
I'm gonna make a prediction. Keita will be a better player than Rob Williams in 2 years.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't
Well,
know.
he'd probably spend more time on the court than Rob ever did.
I loved Rob in person.
Oh,
man.
he was fun.
so much fun to watch. The
Keita's
human
fun to
code
watch
was
too, Timmy. He really the kid hustles.
Yeah, but Rob was like just like a physical freak out there, you know.
No, I
6'8", you played like he was 7'6".
He just used to get so high up there, you couldn't believe it. Like he'd make a crazy block or something, do something insane that you didn't think it was humanly possible to do.
Hey, you
Block a
didn't even answer-
3-point shot.
Timmy, you didn't answer my text when I said your boy Marcus came back last night from 17 games on the.
That because that was a spiteful text. I don't
What
respond
was
to
it? I just
spiteful
said-
text.
It wasn't. I just.
He didn't want to have to play the point. He waited till
No,
Jacques came
I
back.
was like, hey, Tim, that extra weight looks good on you.
That's not true.
Three chins is the good look these days. You know what I mean?
It's not true. I was just reporting what was happening. He
Tim, is that more skin you grew on your head, or is that less hair? I mean,
took 17 games off. He took 17 games. I mean, that was.
Well, he plays his guts out there, and that's you're prone to injury when you're giving 100%.
By the way, this is the best Red Sox conversation we've had in a year.
Oh yeah, right. Oh yeah, I forgot we were talking the Red Sox. Look,
Yeah, you can look at your hat in the mirror.
I just wanted to mention that I forget who tweeted it. Somebody who covers the Red Sox for one of the publications, when he's talking about the starting rotation. Again, I'm just reporting the news. The number one person he put number one was Sale. That's and he's one of the guys. I forget who it was. I don't want to name names. He's one of the guys that Sam Kennedy feeds all his bullshit to. So this is what they're going to be selling us.
And we,
Because even if Sale has the best year of his career, he's going to be
ridiculous.
broken down in August.
wait, when will we be handing our credit cards over for that bill?
Oh yeah, and 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got to make a move before they collect our money, right?
Do we have a pact that we that?
Oh,
we have to make some type of
when
pact here, guys?
They'll make a move before the season tickets are due.
You know, they
We're like-
charge everybody January 18th for their season tickets.
Yeah,
Just so
we're like
Yeah.
lambs to the slaughter.
yeah.
Where
There'll
are you
be
bringing us? Hey,
a
where you
flurry
bringing
of
us? Hey.
activity then.
Yeah.
Teoscar Hernandez will be a Red Sox.
Oh, I like that. I would like
Oh,
that.
I do too. He's made for Fenway Park. I
Yeah,
think
no, he does a good. Yeah,
he's top
pitcher.
10 all time, and he does in Fenway splits, and he doesn't even play for the Red Sox.
then I'm going to bet that Rusty's Binky Duran goes.
I hope not.
It seems like that could happen now, right? Given
Yeah.
that they got this guy O'Neill. I don't know. I just honestly, I just want them to sign two really good starting pitchers. If Paxton comes back as the third one, that's fine. If they do nothing else other than sign two really good starting pitchers, at least then they can compete.
Yeah.
Right?
Don't you think Duran is better as trade bait? He's young, he's under control, he's cheap. You
But
can
he's
go
so
after
exciting.
try to get a young pitcher from one of the other less able organizations with a guy like him, and you throw in something else.
I love watching him play. I love watching him bat.
Yeah, he's just not reliable, Scott. Like he's exciting, but he's not
He's terrible
reliable.
in the field.
He's the Rob Williams of the Red Sox, right?
Yeah,
like,
no, right. Well, he's a guy that, and apparently O'Neill's they're similar body types where they're just ripped like crazy, and they're just pulling a muscle every 5 seconds.
Well, what could we get for Cassis?
First of all, it's pretty clear if you've seen the way that Twitter trends. Tristan Casas is the most popular player on the Boston Red Sox.
Did you see him working out today? And he's got
cornrows,
and he's got a full beard now, a chin beard, anyways.
Pink toenails going on.
Yeah,
but it shows you the Red Sox fans were ready to drive him out of town in April, including Uncle Joe. And now he's the big star of the team, and everybody's. You got to be patient. But Tristan Casas is going to be the best. Again, I'll say it again, and we'll go to the Bruins. He's going to be the greatest first baseman in our lifetime for the Boston Red Sox. Not even a question.
George Scott.
Let's see. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, hey, I hope you're right. I hope you're right. I mean,
he's got to learn to play a little defense too. You know, that's half the position.
Joe, that's unexplainable because he was a really good defensive player in the minor leagues. And I don't know how first base doesn't carry over.
He's a statue. He's like a statue out there. He doesn't even move an inch left to right. That's his problem.
Yeah, I can't believe how slow he is when he runs. I'm like, he's not even trying when he runs. I just want to mention that.
He's Daniel Nava on the base pass.
Oh, my
Mike
God.
Lowell.
He's afraid of tweaking the hammy.
Right. All right, we got to go to the Boston Bruins. And guys, they're just not good enough. At the end of the day, they're not good enough. You just see them get their ass kicked by like the Winnipeg Jets, and you realize they're not good enough. And anyway,
they got a lot of young players on that team, and more coming too. They brought up another guy today.
Oh yeah, that kid's supposed to be
he's killing. He's like leading the AHL in points, and so they've been trying to keep him down there rather than bring him up. He's got a Russian name, Georgy.
Starts with an M. Megalov. Yeah. So my question is, if you're Sweeney, you're right next to you're smack at the cap, the hard cap.
Yeah.
You clearly don't have a team that's going to win a Stanley Cup. You just don't.
I wouldn't say that, Scotty. I would not say that.
Yeah.
Do you think, as constituted?
Wait, who's so much better than them?
Well, I mean, I think that you obviously Vegas is a better team.
Well, the young guys are starting to get exposed. They got a lot of rookie types in Geeky and Beecher and Steen, and there's a lot.
The Rangers are a better team. What'd you say?
We could beat them any night.
Yeah, you know who I wanted? Grizzlick's a free agent after this year. He's the guy we trade because he's a decent savings in money too. And I think we're deeper at defense than any place. And we need this kid Georgie that they bringing up today. He's a center.
I think Lizelle goes.
Go for a wing.
I think Lizelle goes in a deal. They were talking bad about him
Yeah, he
Yeah.
wasn't a team player.
He said that he doesn't know that there's other players on the ice. And
Who said that?
The
some
coach of Providence,
yeah.
Well, he's an idiot for saying that. Why would you tarnish an asset?
because he's trying to kick him in the ass. Those kids like that, they always play for themselves coming through. You want to be the star, so you go to the next level. The kids got to learn you got to play team. Now you don't have to do that anymore. You can play team. And that's all the guy was trying to get.
Well, if they're bad enough, they're probably not trying to trade him then.
No, he was more like he was sending a message, Tim.
Yeah.
Do they need two
Well,
players?
Scotty, hold on. Hold on. I think they need a guy like Lozelle in the pipeline that kind of pasta pure scorer type. That skill guy. These bangers and bruises, the Charlie Coyles that go up and down the wing. Nothing against Charlie Coyle, but there are certain guys that just have something special, and Lozelle, they're kind of talking about him like that at a skill level. So
why haven't we seen him come up yet?
Because these guys are kids.
Because they had Poitras. Poitras went to the juniors. He's at the World Juniors now, so the shorter center. So that's why he's got to come.
He's a very slender kid, Joe, right? Too.
Oh, Lysel, yes.
Yeah.
He's
175
pounds.
I remember that kid, John Marino. This is just a story about Catholic. John Marino was in the 8th grade of Catholic. He's playing for Pittsburgh. I think he's with the Rangers now. I'm not positive. Maybe New Jersey. And the kid could fly. He could fly. And his father was going crazy that they wouldn't bring him up to the varsity team. The kid was $120. You know what I mean?
Yeah, wow.
Why would you take a Ferrari that you're going to drive for the next 5 years? And or a racehorse that isn't ready for the race yet. Put it out there to get
demolition derby.
Why spoil this kid? Why get him injured? Why wreck his confidence? Let him throw 20 pounds of muscle on that body or something. They probably get him on milkshakes and whatever other substances. That's but those skill guys, Scotty, they're tough to come by.
All right, so here's the question. Now we're about midway through the season. And I'll start with Joe. Are the Bruins Stanley Cup contenders, forgetting about their record, what you see the eye test?
No. They've got great goaltending, above average defense, but there's too many holes in the starting, the fourth lines. It's not that they're bad, it's that they're inexperienced. They got a lot of young players filling holes there, and they've got to, find their way around the league for us before they're going to be effective, especially come playoff time. It'll be even more apparent that they're rookies.
All right, Russell.
Yeah, because they've got 2 number 1 goalies, a good enough defense, and if they go on a heater, like Florida went on a heater last year, they could get themselves into the Stanley Cup Finals, and then anything can happen once you get into the finals, even if Vegas is a better team. So, yeah, it doesn't mean they should stand pat. They should try to go bolster themselves somehow, but they could win. Yeah, why not?
Timmy.
I am somewhere between Joe and Russell. Any team can win. I think they go out there on any night and beat any team, especially with this goaltending. Both goaltenders are capable of standing on the head. We've seen with goaltending the difference that it makes in games. The defense is very solid. Could they use more of a punch? We knew we were going to get punished for going all in last year. I mean, if you had said, "Hey, we're even in this position right now this year," we would have all been ecstatic, right? Might these kids come along a little bit as the season goes on, gain a little something? Are we the favorites to win now? But anything's possible. I wouldn't rule them out.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's our show for tonight, boys. We covered a lot. Want to thank the fellas. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune again next Thursday night for our first show of the year 2024 at 7:00. Hope you can join us. That's our show for tonight. My name is Scott Kerman. Have a great, happy New Year.